Hello, I'm Dan.
And I'm Can.
And this is a Candid Conversation. And we're coming back at you again this week. And we've honestly been kind of quiet on current events for a while. And these were kind of meant to keep us up to date and anything that happened we were going to talk about. But there's been other things that, well, I guess outside of our world, we've been pretty consistent on being up to date and what's happening the week of in our world when we're talking about different things that are going on with us on these. But we need to step outside of that every now and then and talk about just what's happening.
What the hell is happening in this world?
Exactly. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So we're going to talk about the Super Bowl and the teams that are going to the Super Bowl.
No, we're not.
What are we talking about?
Who cares? Huh?
Tell us, Can. What are we
I
talking
don't know.
about?
Let's talk about a big deal right now, which is happening in Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
I mean, I know everybody's talking about it, but we talk about current events throughout our podcast. Sometimes, we sprinkle it in.
Yeah.
But let's just talk about how people that we knew as Christians when we were Christians think about what's going on in Minneapolis, where you've got people.
Well, I think, first of all, I have seen some more Christians coming out and posting things
in against it.
Against
what's happening. Yes.
I actually saw one today where the lady was like, okay, Christians, we have to be honest with ourselves. We can't just ignore this. This is not right. People are being murdered in the street in broad daylight, and it's sanctioned by our government. And I've seen pastors.
It's not even being investigated by our government, or they're saying they're just letting these people go free, basically, without a trial.
I've seen pastors talking about, well, this needs to be addressed. So I'm going to be, full transparency. We're not pro-Christian by any means or pro-religion, but they are starting to take some action.
We'll say some are.
Some are actually making steps towards.
Some are buckling or digging in.
And there's some that are digging in and standing.
And some
right
are being
behind
quiet.
And I think there's a lot that are just being quiet. And I think a lot of the people that we know personally are in that latter category.
Yes, they are just shutting up. They were all bragging about their guy. And now all of a sudden they got nothing to say. Yeah. I think they know it's wrong.
Yeah.
So they're just being silent rather than admitting they were wrong. Well, I will, as a side note here, I will say, people, if you are shaming people when they start to say, hey, I was wrong, if you're telling them, yeah, this is your fault and, we're never for you, you got to start doing this, and stop doing that. We need to make it a safe place. Yeah. If they are really genuinely admitting that they are wrong, we need to make it safe for them to do that. And it takes time for them to work on the deprogramming. They're not going to just go, you don't want them to swing from being MAGA into swinging hard left. You want them to think through things.
You're seeing some people that are actually going through that mentality right now. And I want, first, before going into that, this is no different than someone that may have done you wrong in the past, or an alcoholic or a drug abuser that's admitting that first step.
Which takes courage.
Yeah.
It does take courage to admit.
I guarantee most of you people out there that have been on the left side of all this, if, someone that you loved came up to you and said, I'm an alcoholic, you're not just going to immediately just shit on them all the way. There's might be some anger and, and justifiably so, depending on how they treated you. But you're also going to have just a tinge of empathy there still too. And that's the same way you have to treat people leaving the maggot cult. A tinge of empathy in there to understand that they were programmed into something.
And
they bought
keep
it.
this in mind. If you're doing that, there is going to come a time where someone who is more righteous than you, you're going to need their mercy. Yeah. You're going to need them to forgive you, because you are going to make mistakes, because you're human. So we need to all get off of our self-righteous, thinking we've got all the answers, thinking we always do it right. No, now is not the time for that. We can have those discussions later, but right now we need to encourage people. We need to show that it's safe if you're going to admit that you're wrong, so that more will begin to admit they're wrong and come out of it, rather than shaming it and keeping them from admitting it, because they need to do that.
Yeah. And then what I've seen, back to the point before that, was I've seen more of these people that are in the streets of Minneapolis that are just walking around, and they're kind of in a daze. There's one that's been, I think, kind of popular. Is this older guy. He's like, I'm 70 years old, and this is just wrong. This is just wrong. What's happening right now is just wrong. No idea what side he fell on beforehand, but he's just in this spot of, no matter how you look at this, from whatever side you come from, this is wrong. You can't just have a police force walking around doing whatever they damn well please, because, what's his name? Alex did not do anything wrong. He's protected by the Supreme Court in a recent decision under the First Amendment to be able to film whatever he wants. And you can go on YouTube, and I guarantee you, if you start searching, you're going to find people that just are filming other people, and they're legally protected to do this. They can sit outside. They didn't find
any, in the people that are whining about that, they haven't had trouble with anybody else filming stuff. Just this kind of stuff is what they're mad about.
So you can go out and watch a YouTube video of some guy filming people eating on a patio and refuses to leave because it's his constitutional right to film people eating on a sidewalk because it's public domain.
So they can just videotape. So people can just videotape. That's showing my age a little bit. They can just...
Boomer.
You don't have to be a boomer. It's Gen X, buddy. They can just film you and then put it up on public places, and you have no... Wow, that's weird.
If they're on a sidewalk, which is considered...
If you're in a public place, I guess.
So if you're
that means you could be filming. You could be on so many videos. The other people, you could
be in a city park and someone can film you and put it up.
Yeah. I guess that's what we live in now.
Yeah, it's legal because that's public domain. You are out in public.
They can't film you in private places, but they can film you.
They can't come up to your window and film you inside your house.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous.
They can't go up to a restaurant window and film you. But if you're
so now we're all kind of like celebrities walking around. How celebrities feel with the paparazzi. The chances are. Yeah,
I can't walk into a business with a camera and start filming. I mean,
just out in public places. What about a library?
But if they told me to stop, I'd have to stop. Now, library, I'm not sure. So they're out on the street and they're filming. That's perfectly legal. That's First Amendment right.
I don't think people are really complaining about that. They're complaining that he had a gun.
Second Amendment right, which is the one I think that's really triggering a lot of the red hats, because this is
weird.
This was one of their biggest things. They
want this. They don't want a liberal having a gun, though, apparently.
Legal, concealed carry permitted individual who was working in the Veterans Administration Hospital. Probably means he might have had some experience. Family or himself even in military. That's an assumption. I don't know.
Doesn't matter. He had a right, constitutional right to have his gun. He was registered and everything.
Yeah, this is their poster boy. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden that's used against him. And any one of them can watch the video clearly and see that he never reached for his firearm.
They took his gun before they shot him. They had his gun in their possession.
What he did was he tried to help the lady that they had shoved out of the way.
Because he's a nurse. Of course he would naturally go, "Are you okay?" And
the comments are that he was saying, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And she wasn't even impeding anything. They could have got around her. I couldn't tell if they're trying to drive through or whatever. They were just filming, not impeding. They were upset that they were filming. which is which is a First Amendment right. They shoved her. So him being a gentleman went over to make sure she was all right because they shoved her to the concrete.
So he was showing chivalry, which they claim to be all for.
And then he tried to get in between the two of them so that she wouldn't get hurt anymore. Got sprayed in the face with pepper spray. And his hands kind of went up. And that's where you see the camera in the one hand as he's trying to film. And his other hand's up here. Guns down, holstered. So he didn't reach down. He had his hands up. Took him to the ground, arms up above him, and then shot. Don't you see one of, I haven't watched the actual video. I've seen parts of it from a different angle where I couldn't see it because I'm way too sensitive. I cannot watch somebody be murdered. That will mess me up for a long time. So I try to avoid seeing any of these videos, but I hear about them. And I kind of watched pieces of, it looked like an officer got the gun and he walks away with it before the shots are fired. There are 4 or 5 officers holding him down. Probably 4 officers holding him down. Another guy walks in, removes the gun. Now the speculation was, did he accidentally discharge the gun then, which scared all the other guys, and then they started shooting, or not? Because some people are starting to claim
they
that.
should have control enough
They had control
to be able
of the
to
situation.
watch.
Yeah. They had control of the guy. He wasn't going to do anything.
They knew where his arms were.
But the shady part was then he kind of scurried off after he had the gun.
Yes, that's what I saw. Yeah. And I heard, and I don't know if this is true, so don't say if you know if it's true, but maybe you heard it too, that they were looking for, there's a guy who got it all recorded and he ran because they were trying to find people who got it on record.
Yeah.
They didn't want people to have it. And I've heard that they're supposed to be wearing body cameras, but they don't.
All police are supposed to be wearing body cameras,
they're not
but
police
this
officers.
Is a federal designated military police force.
Yeah, that's not trained.
So they're not under the same jurisdiction as local police would have body cameras.
But I think these guys are supposed to have body cameras too, but they don't wear them. They definitely should if they don't, because then they could. But why would you not? Because you don't want to show that you're doing something that's deceitful and wrong.
You don't want to get caught doing what you're doing.
Well, and then I heard one guy say, we can't have these. Well, before I say that, the side thing, I think it's Kristi Noem is saying, I don't know if it was her or
she's been
Stephen
done on
Miller.
On both these executions. She came out within hours and made statements of terroristic threats.
Renee Good.
Yeah, Renee Good and Alex. That these were terroristic threats within hours, which is ridiculous.
It is, because there's no due process. There is no due process in anything now. Now they're just there needs to be a process done. Let's investigate what's going on. And you don't just say that they're innocent.
And what they're doing is they're trying to play by, remember we watched that Trump documentary or movie. Remember the 3 rules? Attack, attack, attack. Deny, 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 and always win. You never lose. Yeah. So they're operating under those same principles. Attack, attack, attack. But the game has changed somewhat because people have instant access to, within minutes, this is uploaded to the internet. And within a half hour,
yeah, within seconds sometimes, yeah.
It's viral of what's going on. So when they come out 2 hours later and say this was a domestic terroristic, they're not up to speed on what's going on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and all this stuff and what's being circulated around as video. So the old playbook was get out there and be the first story out and the first comment out. And that's what people, you want to be the first story, then you can come back later and put a page 7, clean up. We were wrong there, but blah, 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 blah. But you got your initial message out. So they're trying to do that.
The damage gets done with that first.
But now it's not working that way because now they look like idiots because they're out there saying, well, this was, he was firing and hostile. Nothing in the video. Anyone with eyes can see. Nothing in the video appeared hostile.
They'll probably come out with lies and say it's AI edited.
Yeah. And the only issue is that the AI would have to be consistent from I think 4 or 5 different angles.
All the angles. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
AI is not that good yet.
Good luck. No, good luck.
So,
But one of the things, I heard somebody say, I don't know if it was her or if it was Stephen Miller, like this guy was intent on causing massive harm to, like he bringing a gun. He brought a handgun.
he brought a handgun.
You have some of these guys that bring AR-15s in to go get coffee.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're wearing them. I've seen them walking in.
The thing is
That's
that
just,
these people also want to build off the short-term memory of people. If you come in and if you were to go back and just analyze every statement Trump, and I would not ask anyone to do this because it would just be so mind-numbing, but to go through everything of Donald's press conferences and releases, how many times he says 2 weeks?
oh yeah, he said that's a tactic for sure.
Yeah.
Say 2 weeks.
And everything's 2 weeks. We're going to have these checks rolling out in 2 weeks. We're going to have these medications discounted in 2 weeks. We're going to have this done in 2 weeks. And it never gets done because
Nothing
people
happens
forget
in 2 weeks. Yeah.
in 2 weeks.
That they
what
know
was
that.
promised.
Yeah. Say 2 weeks.
Hell, I had trouble remembering what I did last Friday. And this is Monday that we're recording this. Okay. Someone had to remind me that, oh, yeah, you were in late Friday night. Oh, yeah, I was. Holy shit. I forgot about that. 3 days ago. 2 weeks, you forget a lot of stuff that happened. So that's a tactic. And that's how they're operating. But it's not working that much because some people's memories are, remembering this stuff, and they bring up Kyle Rittenhouse. Okay, you guys are condemning this guy for having a licensed concealed weapon in his holster while he's holding up a sign and a phone while you guys are protesting. And Rittenhouse was walking through a BLM protest with an AR-15 drawn.
Didn't he kill people?
Yeah.
And he's free.
Yeah. There's a world of difference on how both these. He was aggressively.
It's like they only want it for themselves. It's
with a weapon drawn, looking, and this other guy just had it on himself for his own personal protection in case shit got out of hand.
Because he probably carries it with him wherever he goes, especially what's going on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even think they were at a protest, were they? I don't think it was a protest. I think these ICE people are just like all over the place. He didn't bring a gun to a protest, I don't think. I think he was just walking the street.
Someone kind of changed this a little bit. What Minnesota's doing has been just the blueprint of how to react when ICE comes to your community. What they've done is set up systems of what they call, I think, nest in circles. So there's networks all around the town, and they're connected to the neighborhoods. So when ICE is in your neighborhood, there's alerts that go out in your neighborhood, and people in that neighborhood go out, and they have whistles and cameras and signs. So they immediately start filming, and they immediately start blowing the whistles to alert.
Oh, nice. I didn't know this. Okay.
And then the next circle is the neighborhoods around that circle. And then and it's concentric circles working out from here. So when ICE moves out, then that circle shifts all wherever they may go. And then just kind of goes, and they've built a network of this.
Gosh, that's kind of like beautiful just in and of itself, watching people like
come together and do this. They're not doing anything violent. They're not doing anything directly against.
Well, people will say, oh, you're inhibiting ICE from doing their job.
They're bringing attention to what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because the thing that a lot of people are starting to get upset with is the tactics that are being used.
Yes.
You are having 8, 9, 10 heavily armed individuals roll in and tackle people. And when they're
you're not
incapacitated.
No warrants, right? No warrants.
No warrants
you're
needed.
You're just grabbing people,
doors.
racial profiling or something.
They could break down doors, whatever they want to go in. And they have these people contained, and they're still kicking them and punching them, spraying chemicals in their face. This is what the phones are for, to film.
Yes.
To show the excessive abuse that's going on. Okay? I don't care if that person was a child assaulter. You still have to have due process.
Yes,
and
you have to do
can't
due process.
Assault these people, no matter how much you may want to. And I can understand that. If someone touched my kid, I would want to do physical harm to the individual that did that.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not an officer of the law.
And you'd also know there's consequences if you physically harm somebody that maybe you have something against. If you physically harm them, there's consequences on you. But these guys are operating like there's no consequence because the people in power are not giving just consequences for their behavior. So they're walking around like bullies with guns, with power, and it's these, I don't know where you're finding these individuals that have no moral compass whatsoever.
I'm going to throw this out. This is pure speculation. You don't hear much about the Proud Boys anymore marching anywhere. You don't hear about the
you think it's Proud Boys that are
that are going around anymore. You're not seeing these guys stand, because remember in BLM, you had Proud Boys marching on those protests. You had white power groups of all sorts of names and colors coming in and marching on those groups. None of that's appeared here now.
Yeah, that's true. Proud Boys have kind of disappeared. They probably are. That probably is who ICE is. It's probably a lot of those kinds of people.
It was open recruitment. People that were, whoever wanted to join in.
Pay them.
And who's going to join for that? I don't like foreigners. I don't like people that have melanin in their skin. So I'll go out there and get them. You're saying this
sarcastically. I just want to say this for anybody who's
but this is who was signing up for ICE.
That would be the people who would be signing up for this stuff. Yeah. And they'll sound so righteous because they love this country.
Yeah.
No, you don't. This country is about people. It's, you think of what is written on the Statue of Liberty, give me your poor, give me your, that whole phrase that's what America was. That's what they were wanting, is like, you can come here and you can have a life. You can start something here. Did it start with a whole lot of mess? Yes, absolutely. But I think in at least in the heads of a lot of us, that's what we're dreaming of as an America. As it's this big melting pot. It's always been a melting pot. That's what it's supposed to be, is this mixture of all of these cultures and all of these races and ethnicities, and we come together, all religions, and we can still build lives together, and we can support one another. We can care about one another. We can, and yet now because of the power that is, the people that are in power right now want segregation. They want it to be, they want this elitism, this exclusiveness. And that is the trickle down that's happening. So people are picking up on that, and then they're following that kind of behavior. And I think there's enough of us that don't want that. There's enough of us that will push back in. I do think that we are starting to say no. I mean, just what you're describing there with those communities in Minnesota is beautiful to me, that people are actually coming up with ways to protect the most vulnerable among us.
Yeah.
And I think that most cities will do stuff like that. We will support one another. We will step in. I don't know. That gives me a lot of hope.
Yeah.
It's sick that is what's...
Well, and it's, and here's the thing was, and this is, I think, a big key difference between Germany and now, is Germany, you didn't hear a whole lot about protest against what was going on. There wasn't people marching outside of concentration camps saying this is evil, this is wrong. They cowered to the power. They may not have agreed with it, but they didn't want to stand up against it because they were afraid of what was going to happen. And I think this administration's wanting to do that, where people would cower to them. And they're finding out.
Not cowering to them. Yeah.
The American people aren't going to cower.
No, and that's
always
reminds me of that
believe.
quote. And I don't remember who said it, but Americans are very hard to rule because we do have that rebellious spirit a little bit. You're not going to tell us how to live our lives. You're not going to control us.
Well,
and as much as conservatives preach freedom, they are not for freedom. They're for freedom for themselves and not for everybody else. They don't want freedom for all. So, but they're going to start noticing. I think some of them are starting to wake up wait a second. This is now pretty dangerous.
You're starting to step on some of their things that they fight for.
Oh, yeah. They're not effective.
Second Amendment,
affecting them. Yeah.
You start saying that now, okay, you can't have weapons on you. Wait a minute. Who's big on that? Or outspokenly big, because the left is, trust me, the left is well armed too.
Oh yeah, there's as many
They just don't want to
Democrats with
speak.
guns
Yeah,
as
they're
as
just not as
Republicans. Come
vocal
on.
about it, and they're
Yeah,
not doing
they're
big
not. Their
measuring
guns aren't their
contests.
most
Going, look at all my
important
guns and
thing.
in my collection.
Yeah, their guns aren't their identity.
Yeah,
But they do have them. They are going to protect themselves.
but now all of a sudden you're starting to step on some of that,
Yeah.
and you're starting to step on white people are the ones that are getting hurt now.
Yeah, they're seeing these white people get killed, and now all of a sudden they're going to be like, "Oh, now there's a problem."
Okay, now I know how that could be taken, but I'm not saying because white people now action is going to be taken. I'm saying a lot of people already had action and were like, "This is bad."
There are a lot of people that they don't
Because
care
of
who
what
you
was
are. They
happening
think you
to
should be treated justly.
minorities.
But there are some people that will only start helping if it's white people.
Yes, and that's what I'm talking about is the MAGA
Yeah.
people that are like, "Wait a minute,
Yeah.
this isn't supposed to be white people getting shot in the streets."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know,
But then right now there are still hardcore MAGAs. They're like,
Oh,
these
yeah.
people are they're just because they're believing the lies that are being spun because they'll just
or
believe
they're going to be like a
anything
lot
that
of
is
people
told
we
to
said
them.
that automatically that were flapping their gums an awful lot in June, July, and August.
Oh yeah, I've even
that
seen
have
people like on Facebook that have not been talking at all about politics. They just went quiet.
Which I think is funny that this volume of rhetoric that was coming out over the spring and summer kind of went because it's like
either they know or they at least have an idea like this does not look good. You know, are they turning on Trump and his cohorts? I don't know yet. My concern is, are they going to even ever be able to admit that he is not good for they have so much trouble admitting wrong. They have so much trouble admitting they're deceived. I don't know. Like, that's going to take so much courage. And I don't know if a lot of them have enough courage to do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're kind of a cowardly bunch, let's be honest. They just want things to be.
We can understand that from the Christians we deal with, too. They're not going to admit that they're wrong and their religion is contradictory and man-made.
It would take a lot of courage,
their identity is completely based in what they think.
And that's why I'm saying if, like I said at the beginning, if someone does have the courage to say, I was wrong. Like I saw a video of a guy he was a preacher. And for years, for decades, basically, he was preaching. He was at all the March for Lives and all the, those kinds of, he was just he was conservative all the way, right? Preaching it constantly from the pulpit. Now he's completely, he goes and walks, in these protests for that it's, to be kind to the immigrant, to love, to, all the things that people say, oh, that's so woke, right? So he does all those things. He's out there. He's like, I'm just doing the best I can to, like, I'm sorry for what I caused. I caused a lot of this, and I'm trying to do what I can to make it better. People are like, that's not enough. You can't just market it. First of all, they don't know what he's doing. But it is a huge step to admit, especially publicly, that you were wrong. That takes incredible courage. It took us a lot of courage to admit we were wrong about Christianity. We got it wrong. We got duped. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like we cannot shame people when they're doing that. We cannot shame them and tell them what they should be doing now to prove to us. Yes, their actions have to back it up. They cannot keep promoting what they were promoting. But you also have to give them time as their minds are spinning. It's crashing. There's a lot of reprogramming going on. There's a lot of nervous system programming, and you got to give them some space, and you got to stop demanding. If they become aware of it, that is absolutely huge. And let them know that you're there to help them walk through. Like, they're going to have questions. They're going to make mistakes. But they're willing to learn. They've got an open mind now. They're probably not going to ever go back. I don't know anybody that goes back, really. But, I mean, it can, in deconstruction, yes. But I don't think once you see what's going on here politically, you're going to go back to thinking it's okay.
No.
I think you pretty much got your eyes open then.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, we just want to address some of that. And I think that's the biggest point, because I think this is opening a lot more eyes now, what's going on. It's kind of like during COVID and BLM and George Floyd, me and you, I could speak for you here too. Our eyes were open to a lot of institutional racism that was going on that we didn't see beforehand.
We were not aware at all.
And we had to come out of that. And I think this is the next step where a lot of these people are like, okay, now it's the next step for more people to see there's some institutional shit that's happening here that's not good. And it's going to pull them out. We were accepted freely. People didn't judge us or anything like that. And we were appreciated over that. To be able to be like, yeah, we made mistakes. We didn't know. We were ignorant. And now we've come out of it. So we just want to extend that to everyone else that may be coming out of it too. So that they can.
Because we also know there's more things that we don't know that we're doing or we're perpetuating in some way that might not even be discovered for decades from now. And we will want that same grace for ourselves. Yeah. So you know what? We do it, we pass it on, and we give it to others. We give grace and, and let's hope. And we got to get through this. This stuff is terrible and shitty and scary and all the things we're all feeling, But first of all, mind your own nervous system. Pay attention to it is what I would say. Pay attention to it because you're of no use if you are in fight flight constantly or perpetual shutdown. You're not going to be helping the collective. You got to pay attention to that. And if you need help with it, you can reach out to me. But pay attention to that. And sometimes you got to get through some of this crappy stuff to get to the good stuff. It will get better eventually. Yeah. Eventually. I don't know when. It will get better.
And remember, this is all being done as a smokescreen to cover up the Epstein files.
Yeah, and release the Epstein files. Because you're either a pedophile yourself, Mr. DJT, or you're a protector of pedophiles. That's the only reason you wouldn't put those out.
Yeah.
That is it. So we don't want somebody in the White House who is a pedophile or is a protector of pedophiles, period. For that alone, he should be kicked out.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right. Well, that's all we got for you here. So, refocus, ground yourself, prepare yourself, and just be mentally strong because they are trying to break you down and cause chaos because that's where they have their power, in the chaos. But if you can stay mentally sound and fight them with logic and reason.
Yeah, don't feed on the news all the time. Just know the facts of what's going on and move on. Live in your pay attention to your own personal life. Do what you can to help, but don't be feeding on news 24/7 because that ain't good for you either. So,
all right. We'll see you guys next time. Oh, wait, hold on before we go. Shit, I almost forgot. YouTube, if you're listening on YouTube, hit like, subscribe, and follow. We'd appreciate that greatly. Helps move us along and put us out there. We're growing pretty good on there now, starting to get some momentum going. So keep pushing us out on that. And if you got time, leave us a comment. We'd appreciate that greatly. Same thing if you're listening just on audio platforms only, and Spotify, Apple, whatever. Give us 5 stars, and if you got a moment, leave us a comment. That helps push us out there also. We appreciate that greatly. And then if you want to find out more stuff about us, go down below in the description. We have links. The main link is thedanandcan.com. It's got everything we're doing. And then there's a few that Candy broke out for shortcuts for you on some things that are going on that you can just click on and hit that real quick too. So go down in the description below and hit those links. And with that being said, we'll see you next week, and hopefully the world's a little better place than it is right now.
We'll get through this. We're in it together.
Yep. We're in it together. We'll catch you all later, meatheads.
No. Bye.
Bye.
Oren